Hey there, welcome to the program. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194, 651-775-9194. The four pillars of a healthy home: the house, the ecosystem, your body, your mind, and spirit. Remember, it's young living or assisted living. You can make your home a healthy home, and it all starts with you, and it begins right now with the lovely and talented Sheila. She does a little rundown on what's going on at the Healthy Home Mansion.
Yes, so I'm going to keep that short. Go to ourhealthyhomes.com, go to the events tab, see what I've got coming. And I always, people are like, oh, well, this was so cool. Let me know when you have the next one. Well, no, I rely on you guys to tell me what it is that you want me to talk about or host and what dates work for you. So you guys got to reach out to me to tell me what you want. Monday, we have community acupuncture. That is around the pool, so you can be on a mat or in a chair. We have a ladies' craft weekend, the whole weekend. You can do whatever craft you want. Cross-stitch, scrapbook, clean up your computer with pictures. It's just a chance for women to be together. And then by request. So we had some soup soirees, and they were so much fun. And it was a blast. The guys and the gals had fun, right? So the Minnesota Hot Dish Bake-Off is coming. That was a request because it's Minnesota, right? And then a couple people were like, hey, I like dips. Can we do a dip-off? It's like, sure, bring a dip. And, it doesn't matter. We'll have a contest. If you don't bring the item, then you're a judge. And then, of course, with the soup ones, we gave a golden soup ladle and some other fun prizes. And the rest of the people get to judge. So go to ourhealthyhomes.com, look at the events tab.
So the hot dish one, we're going to have a golden spatula? Or what
I don't know. I got to think of that. Yeah, yep. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So if you...
Or golden tater tot.
Golden tater tot.
Oh, there you go. That's it. Trophy. Golden tater tot trophy.
Awesome.
There you go. So find me on Facebook, just Sheila Hittner. I post a lot of things that we talk about here. And I posted a graphic from Collective Evolution. And study finds that switching to beauty and personal care products without parabens and phthalates turn breast cancer genes off in just 28 days. Okay, so there was a study that was published, and if you go to that evolution, that Collective Evolution, they have a lot of great studies and information on there. And so they had some healthy female participants who eliminated personal care products containing parabens and phthalates for 28 days. The analysis of the breast tissue samples before and after that period revealed a significant reversal of cancer-associated phenotypes, including changes in the PI3K/, okay, that's past my knowledge there. But basically, the findings found that it took care of those cancer-causing parabens and phthalates, in 21 days.
What took care of it? What are we talking about here?
If you eliminate parabens and phthalates.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to get into that.
All right.
And so many things have the parabens and the phthalates in them, and those are synthetic compounds that mimic estrogen, and then that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but parabens and phthalates are often used as preservatives and fragrance enhancers in cosmetics and personal care products, and those are known as xenoestrogens.
Okay.
So by choosing products free from those chemicals, individuals may decrease the likelihood of developing cancer-related cellular changes.
Okay.
So
that's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful. So what does that look like in your everyday life, right? I think parabens is probably more known than phthalates because you see the paraben-free water bottle
I
or
never heard
plastics or whatever.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So things around the house that they mentioned the beauty care products, but how about just everyday things that you use in your home? Okay, so dryer sheets. We always talk about dryer sheets being the number one most toxic thing in the home. And why is that? You're drying your clothes and then you're wearing your clothes. So the chemicals are in the clothes, and then you're sweating in your clothes, and then your armpits, you have your lymphatic system in there.
Absorbing it all in there, sucking it in.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it sucks. The body is, sucking in anything bad or good, right? Because your skin is your biggest organ. So dryer sheets, number one thing we want to eliminate. And then it's like, well, what do I use? Well, there's wool dryer balls that we put our essential oils on. Now, just don't go buy any essential oil, because just like anything else, how it's made, and FDA regulates that only 5% of oil in a bottle be pure, and then anybody can manufacture it and call it
95% junk.
Exactly. So you don't know what you're getting. You don't know then, what chemicals and things are in there, and it could be floral water. It could, so you just never know.
So like we say, it all begins with you.
Yes, right. So the dryer sheets, and then people, we just have these habits, right? So they're just such a habit of putting a sheet in the dryer.
Sure.
Right? So what if I don't want to use dryer balls and essential oils? Well, we do a lot of fun things with our Young Living products. So we take the baby wipes, which have lavender in them.
Sure.
And that's a wipe.
Uh-huh.
So we take the wipe and we throw the wipe in the dryer.
That works.
We mentally feel like we have to throw a sheet in the dryer, that's how, we accomplish that. But the phthalates are in many things. So I invite you to go around the house and just check 5 things that you use around the house. And I'm going to go through these chemicals quick, because I want you to check around the house for phthalates. That's mostly in the dryer sheets, but it is can cause fetal development hazards, endocrine disruptor. So your endocrine is your adrenals, your thyroid, your reproductive organs, and more. Respiratory distress. It can be cancer causing, and it can affect the nervous system. So there's a lot going on. Soaps, detergents have sulfates, so look for sulfates in your products. Again, known to cause cancer, respiratory distress, skin irritations. Okay, hair loss and thinning. How many times do I get people like, how do I get my hair to grow? Perfumes and fragrances with the beauty products, which was talked about in that study. So anything with the word fragrance is a chemically synthetic made smell or product to smell like something. So it can cause migraines, respiratory distress, a DNA disruptor, cancer causing. So there's a ton of around that. Cleaners, ethonanolamines. So that is a chemical that's in a lot of your cleaners, and again, organ toxicity, cancer causing, skin irritations, your baby products. So look at your baby products. They've got hydroxides in them. Your antibacterial, your triglycerin, that's a big one for the hormone disruptor. And how many people have hormone issues, and it affects the body, right? So the body gets toxic over time. Your glass surface cleaner has pneumonia in it. Okay, that's respiratory, liver toxicity. Your removers, whatever, your glue adhesive removers, formaldehyde, right? So we don't want anything with formaldehyde. Okay.
Formaldehyde.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Air fresheners. So air fresheners are, I mean, dryer sheets are number one, but I don't know. Those air fresheners, they're bad news. They are
They're
bad,
so
right?
bad.
So they're plugged in. Your kids are walking through it. Your pets are walking through. I mean, it's just blasting those chemicals at you, and we wonder why we have such a sick society of pets, right? Besides our children,
and I think those also have like numbing agents, so you lose your sense of smell.
Yes.
In them.
Yes, I would
I
agree
think so
with that.
too, because you go into a house sometimes that's for sale, and the people
Whoa.
they think they got to have one plugged in every room. Jeepers creepers! You just like go running out of the house with your hair on fire. You can't hardly get out of there fast enough.
Well, and the first things on somebody's mind is what are they trying to hide?
Exactly.
Right? So, trust me, a diffuser will take care of, every bad smell that you have in your house. But the candles, the air fresheners, all of those are...
Or a air purifier with ozone.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
All right, so I'm sure everybody was furiously writing down and has 6 pages of notes here
Right.
now from the lovely and talented Sheila. This is Our Healthy Homes. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to the program. Thanks for sticking around. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. That's the big website. Everybody's going to it.
Mm-hmm.
So much traffic on that site, all looking for the events the lovely and talented Sheila has lined up for the Healthy Home Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
So go there and check it out. We have Dr. George Kramer in the studio with us. It's been quite a few years. It's been a couple of years since you've been in. Medical doctor, a clinic in Edina.
In Minnetonka.
In Minnetonka. Okay, so we're looking at alternative medicine, alternative applications of medicine to help you avoid surgery and avoid complicated procedures. The body can heal itself if you just give it a little bit of help and a little nudge, right?
Yes, I call it natural.
Natural.
And holistic medicine rather than necessarily alternative, although my clinic is named Advanced Medicine Alternatives.
Okay.
Because we don't use I don't use drugs. I don't do surgery, but I focus on natural, like Sheila was talking about, natural medicine.
Let's go back then and just kind of give for the audience who hasn't heard you on the program before, just a little bit of your background so that people kind of understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. I'm an MD that specializes in physical medicine and rehabilitation. That was my specialty, and sports medicine.
Okay.
I started the sports medicine program at Park Nicollet 30-some years ago and dealt with musculoskeletal problems, pain problems, and physical medicine and rehabilitation, we were kind of the alternative medicine before there was alternative medicine.
Okay.
Because we didn't use medicine. When the medicines didn't work, they'd send people, when I was at the Mayo Clinic, they'd send people to physical medicine. And physical medicine is physical things like exercise, like light therapy, like electric stimulation, heat, cold, which are all kind of popular now.
Yeah, right.
But they were really unheard of outside of physical medicine, rehab, and physical therapy.
Yes,
long
I would
time
agree.
ago.
So the alternative, you'd say, I see alternative, to me it's options.
Yeah.
So we have other options that we can go to
that's
other
well
than chemicals.
Yeah, that's well said. And so I learned through some of my physical medicine, but also this natural musculoskeletal medicine, I learned about prolotherapy, which I do a lot of, and it's called Prolo because it's, as you said, stimulates the body to heal itself, to proliferate connective tissue. So if you have an injury, a torn ligament, tendon, cartilage, it can stimulate your body to repair. And so I thought that sounded pretty good instead of just covering up the pain and having it come back and having to use medicines.
Can you explain this to me then? Because I've heard many times, and maybe it's just wrong, that like a tendon, it doesn't heal. It has to be surgically repaired.
Yeah, and that is not entirely correct. if it's completely severed and the ends are pulled apart, it can't.
Okay.
It needs to be repaired.
Okay.
Like a completely torn, popped ACL. You can't bring those pieces together with prolotherapy.
Right.
Now you can support the rest of the knee, and many people do well, even though they have an ACL injury, using prolotherapy to stabilize the rest of the knee. But to your point, is ligaments, tendons, and cartilage are all white because they don't have any blood in them.
Okay.
And they don't heal very well because they don't have any blood in them.
Right.
They don't have any repair.
Right.
So prolotherapy, prolozone, regenerative medicine, injections stimulate increased blood flow, increased oxygenation, wake up the cells, speed up metabolism, and say, hey, we can actually repair this. Because we've got the tools, like you said, if you give the body the right tools.
Okay, so I did my pickleball injury in late October. And so I've been, doing all my natural things. I'm good, but I'm at the point now where all of the things that I've done have gotten to me where I think they can get me, right? So it's kind of like when I tore that tissue in my back. Like you said, it's a tissue. There's no blood flow. I think I went into a hyperbaric chamber, was the last thing, because I just
oxygen to the area to
because
heal.
I was so close to the healing being done, but I just needed one more thing to get me there.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in that same spot with the knee. So is it ever too late?
No, I've seen people with years and years of
Okay, good.
knee
It's a couple months.
problems that have never gone away, and oftentimes we can help them when they haven't healed. You wake up the body in that area to say, hey, start the healing process. Let's jumpstart it.
So how does that happen? What is prolotherapy, and how does it jumpstart it?
Yeah. Well, there's I do prolozone
Okay.
as well as prolotherapy. They're just a little different.
Okay.
Using ozone, which is 3 oxygen atoms, and it hyperoxygenates that tissue, speeds up the electron transport chain, but it speeds up energy production in the cells, speeds up metabolism, and just speeds healing. It's anti-inflammatory. It's antibiotic. I mean, it's anti-infectious, and it stimulates your immune system to crank up the healing.
Is that like an injection then?
Yeah, I was
That's
just
an
gonna ask
injection, right?
Okay.
And prolotherapy, prolozone, regenerative medicine. What I do is injection therapy around the sites of injury to rebuild the tissue.
Okay.
And to wake it up and say, this isn't getting better. We better do something.
Okay,
And
so when you wake it up, what am I going to feel when you wake it up?
Yeah.
So, sometimes you feel pain relief.
Okay.
And sometimes you feel some irritation.
Okay.
Because you're trying to bring blood flow to
Sure.
the area. It's usually not alarming. It's usually
Tolerable.
It's oh yeah,
Okay.
something's happening here, and it's a good thing
mhm.
because it's starting the repair process. But it's not an instant fix. It's not a cortisone
Right.
knock.
Right.
Kill
Numbing.
It cortisone it shuts off the pain sometimes,
Right.
but it completely shuts off the repair process. So it's opposite, and it's toxic to the cartilage cells, shuts them off, the repair cells. So it shuts them all off. So you're more apt to need a knee replacement sooner if the more cortisone you get. But that's the tool that people want a quick pain relief.
Exactly.
And
right.
that's why they get it, and so it's the opposite. So I'm doing the opposite. I'm stimulating healing, not shutting off healing and shutting off the immune system. We're boosting the immune system.
How long has prolotherapy been around?
Started almost 100 years ago.
Wow.
1934 started with TMJ, and
In another country or
No,
was
here
it
in the US.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Well, it's usually them that come up with
yeah,
this.
no, it is. I mean, ozone is more many years more in the U.S. But prolotherapy, I've been doing 30 years, 32
Wow.
years. I've been doing prolozone, which is ozone therapy, for 16. And so it's not new, but it's not a drug or you can't patent it. So it's not on TV.
Right.
You can't pay. Nobody's
Right.
got $20 million to advertise prolotherapy that nobody can make any money on.
Right. So what I'm hearing then is for someone with chronic knee pain, chronic back pain,
or
chronic,
shoulder or back
or whatever,
or
joints somewhere, that there's
or acute. For that matter.
absolutely hope for them. Though I mean, if they have someone who's been suffering from chronic knee
Long
pain
time.
for 20 years,
Right.
it's not like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have this now.
Okay.
No, there's a route.
Okay.
I'll give you one example. One guy I see people from North and South Dakota, Iowa, Michigan, and he came from North Dakota, and he hadn't golfed in years because of his upper back pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I treated him with prolozone, I think 3 or 4 times. Well, once, and he was much better. But by the time he was golfing, it was 3 or 4. And subsequently, he had 13 years of thoracic
Wow.
pain. Hadn't golfed in 13 years.
Wow.
I saw him, treated him. He came back like 3 years later for golf injuries
Mm-hmm.
because he'd been golfing too much. So I mean, it can repair, and it can. Our bodies can repair. They don't always repair permanently, but a lot of times they do. That's the goal. I tell my patients, my job is to get you so you don't have to come back.
Yeah.
You know.
So, what about those people that have had the prednisone and the so they've done that for, whatever they do, one every 3 months or 6 months.
Right.
I don't even know what it is. But if they've done that, is it too late then for prolotherapy if they've done those?
It depends on how damaged the joint is. But that often happens. People say, I don't want a knee replacement when I've had like 6 cortisone injections in their knees. Pretty worn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I say, we do 2 to 3 to see if it's helpful and continue if it's helpful.
Okay.
And most people still get some benefit. It
All
just
right.
depends on how worn it is.
Yeah.
All right, we'll pick it up on the other side of the break. Dr. George Kramer, we're talking about prolotherapy and how the body can heal itself if you just give it a little bit of support. Maybe it'll change your life. I mean, if you have a chronic injury that's been bothering you for a long time, or acute, it can change your life. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. It's young living or assisted living, and you can make your home a healthy home. And it all starts with you, and it begins right now with this discussion with Dr. George Kramer. So we've been talking about prolotherapy and how people who have injuries, joint pain, whatever, how it can repair itself with a little help from you.
Right, and I am looking forward to it, so you guys are going to hear my story.
Oh, yeah.
And help from God. I tell patients I'm the
Yes.
helper, not the healer.
There you go.
Yes.
There you
So
go.
like you guys said with your healthy homes, it's a healthy mind, body, and spirit.
That's right.
Right.
Okay, I have a question for you, because so many of these alternative applications and options that people are presented with now, they're not covered by insurance. It's all out-of-pocket costs.
Mm-hmm.
Is this an insurable event? I mean, is it the insurance cover it, or is it out-of-pocket, or how do people pay for it?
Yeah, it's out of pocket.
Okay.
For the most part, I have patients say, my insurance doesn't pay, but it doesn't pay for anything that works.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So I gotta
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
And we need the trauma surgeons. We need the
Yes.
the serious injury, illness things. But for especially chronic problems that aren't clearing up, instead of, I've had people say, for instance, a quarterback for a high school thing, he had a toe injury, sesamoiditis it's called. It's the bottom of your toe, and they had him in a boot for 2 months. He wasn't any better. I treated him once with the Prolozone. Now, ozone is really a powerful, quick healer, and I do actually more Prolozone than prolotherapy.
I was wondering about that because the ozone thing has
Right.
really just skyrocketed in the last few
And
years.
oxygen, oxidative therapies like hyperbaric oxygen. Ozone is kind of like, it's more powerful than hyperbaric oxygen locally. We kind of boost it.
Okay, so when I had my cavitation surgery,
Yeah.
so the cavitation is a low grade infection
tooth thing
in your bone.
Bone here,
Right.
by your
So they cut my gums open and they took like 8 vials of my blood, spun it, put it back in, and then put the ozone in to speed up
it just
that.
speeds up, and it kills all the bacteria.
Yes.
And, so that's. I lost my train of thought there, but we were talking about.
So more ozone now
Now
than
than
prolotherapy.
prolotherapy.
So is it the same way you apply it?
Yeah, it's similar. Right? We do injection therapy.
Okay.
So I'll inject some Novocaine, B vitamins, and then follow it with ozone.
Okay.
And the ozone will puff up and hyperoxygenate the tissue. So I was the rest of that. I was talking about the quarterback,
Yeah.
and he was like 50% better, and he was playing football after 3 months, no improvement, and I think he may have even had a cortisone injection. And then he was playing football in probably after 2 visits.
So I keep going back to the pickleball court because I need to get my feet strengthened and my legs, movement and keep it moving, right? So I'm telling everybody, I'm on the injured recovery list here. I'm coming. Be gentle. I'm on the but if we were watching, okay, when something happens to you, your reticular activator is just right. It's just there, right?
Yeah, you're aware.
You're aware, right? Like whatever. You thinking about buying a red car, all of a sudden, that's all you see is red cars,
Yeah.
And so we were watching football, and now it's all like, oh my gosh, everybody's getting injured. Where I mean, I would have never paid, attention
sure.
to it right before,
Well,
but I have this.
So I hurt my foot playing pickleball.
Okay.
All right. So and it was like the bottom of my pad of my foot.
Yeah.
Right?
Metatarsalgia or metatarsal
and just
pain.
hurt like crazy. I mean, I could hardly walk, and so then I would start playing, and I'd be good for about one game, and then it would start hurting, and by the end of 2 hours, I could barely walk off the court. So that went on for how long? Months, and I thought of you actually, and then I thought, oh, this is probably too little of a thing.
No, I see all kinds of things.
Is that right?
Yeah. You name
Well, it's
it,
just
I've
like
seen
you
it.
mentioned that little toe.
Yeah,
right?
it's a little that bone is they call it a sesamoid bone because it's about the size of a sesame seed.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Get out! Wow, that's tiny.
Yeah. But you probably have metatarsalgia, and the first thing is I'd get some Power Step orthotics with a metatarsal pad. It's
That's
a
what I
little,
did.
little lump behind the ball of your foot.
Yep.
Usually that helps. If it
Well, it's
doesn't
this
take care
little
of it.
plastic sleeve thing that you put
Yeah, it
over
was $6.
your foot.
Yeah.
It was $6.
Yeah.
It was
it's
amazing.
and it's taken care of it,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. So there you go.
Exactly.
That's what I do. And
So-
you come in, I might tell you that. I said,
Uh-huh.
we're not going to do the injection. You need an orthotic, or
Yeah.
you need to change how you're exercising. Quit lifting overhead weights because you got shoulder pain, things like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
So
right.
and you're more apt to get an instruction in exercise and making sure your lifestyle, your supplements, we all need to start with anti-aging is exercise,
Right.
and don't eat crap.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and get rid of the toxins out of your
Right,
out of
those
your
three
body
things,
because
yep.
it's weakening your immune system, and it's weakening your liver, and it's weakening your body. And the weaker your body is, then
You can't repair.
exactly,
Yeah.
and then the injuries happen, and blah blah blah.
Can you
The
just kind of
dominoes.
walk us through then how your clinic works? Because what I'm hearing is a more holistic approach than a simple diagnosis and point. We're going to do this one thing, and then
Right.
you're kind of out the door. So talk about the consultative.
Well,
Impact.
people come in and they usually have a presenting problem, whether it's shoulder pain, a lot of low back pain, a lot of knee pain, a lot of tennis elbow, pickleball injury.
sure.
Presenting. I'm going to write that down because that's good language. Presenting problems.
Presenting problems, and oftentimes they know that I have more a natural approach, and it's not drugs and surgery, it's not your usual, and because they've oftentimes been through that. But I'll talk to them about their history, their history of their injury, wherein it began, what kind of problems they had, even unrelated. They might have an autoimmune disease. Their hormones might be off.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, I just said, lady yesterday, I said, why don't you get your hormones balanced with bioidentical hormone evaluation and come back, because half of your pain might be, all these body pains might be, she had, typical depression, hot flashes, low energy, et cetera,
How much of
et
that
cetera.
do you think is from diet?
That particular isn't a lot, but it can be, certainly, because if you're eating ultra processed food, you just kind of wreck your endocrine system.
Yes,
Mhm.
right.
And so that it can be contributing. But I'm getting to that because she came in for pelvic pain
Oh,
and back pain, and I said, what's more important? I could treat you and you might get some relief, but you're not in a healing situation.
Indeed, right.
So it'll be temporary. So go get your and then
hormones. Yeah.
and then come back with what's left, and we'll address that.
And that's what I always say with people. It's like let me take you through a series of like cleanses and get you to a certain point, and then if you're still having those issues, then we're going to seek.
Right.
Because there's so many things that really need to be done to the
Right.
body before, like you said, it's really going to work.
Or low vitamin D.
Yes, right.
Vitamin D
Yep.
slows musculoskeletal healing. People with some chronic pain conditions, it's caused by low vitamin D. Or it can aggravate it. So it's diet. It's stress. Stress. I've had people come in and they got all this tension in their neck and their shoulders, and go, you need to work on stress management, do some prayer, meditation, counseling. When you get a little better control on that, come back here. You may not need injection therapy. You may need something else.
What about meniscus?
Meniscus, meniscus she's talking about is in the knee. They're meniscal cartilage. They're these little half C-shaped washers that are shock absorbers. And people come in and say, I have this meniscus problem. Well, a lot of the time they've got degeneration of that joint, which degenerates the meniscus. So it's part of a wear and tear. As we age, that meniscus gets less rubbery. And as it gets less rubbery, it cracks easier. So we'll start with that. And you can repair the meniscus.
Okay.
You have to, it's not instant.
No, it takes time.
Right. But a lot of times I'll see those. I don't get a lot of follow-up MRIs because people are better. But
Sure.
sometimes I'll get them, and you can see that little tear fill in.
What's it filling in with?
Filling in with connective tissue,
Okay.
with your fibrous tissue. It's
Okay.
not brand new cartilage, but it's related.
Right.
And oftentimes the knee pain isn't from the meniscus. It's from instability. When you lose the joint space, then the ligaments are still this long. Joint space, so this goes, so you're grinding at your cartilage, you're grinding at your meniscus, and you're pulling at the ligaments. So with prolozone or prolotherapy, a lot of times we'll stabilize those ligaments. There won't be the shifting, and you don't have the pain.
Knee brace is a good idea in a case.
It depends on the situation.
Okay.
If it's unstable, and for people returning to pickleball, I'll have them. There's some people if they have that instability. I have one patient, is a friend patient, and she had completely gone lateral compartment, the outside, and she's doing great. She doesn't have a lot of pain after the prolotherapy, but she's still loose. It's not perfectly.
Right.
So I have her wear a brace
Yeah.
doing pickleball, and she's doing great. She's still got a really worn out knee, but she's able to play.
right.
That's all that
One more
matters.
segment when we come back. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. Check out the website and maybe register for one of the upcoming events. We'd love to see you at the mansion. Maybe you can bring a hot dish. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to the show. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194. That's the Healthy Home Hotline, 651-775-9194. The lovely and talented will have a chat with you, get you pointed in the right direction. All right, so we're here with Dr. George Kramer. If you want more information, go to georgekramermd.com, georgekramermd.com. Check it out. If you're having some joint pain, some knee pain, chronic pain, acute pain, whatever it is, and people are saying, oh, you need surgery, I would give you some advice and just seek another option and see what happens. And if it's surgery is required, he's going to say have surgery. But otherwise, maybe try something different. One thing you said last segment that kind of...
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
That I tell people my job is to keep you from surgery if you don't need it and get you there as fast as possible if you do.
Yeah.
There's some people I've seen, I said, you know what? You need I'm going to send you to the neurosurgeon here.
Okay.
You need this. Yeah, at least an evaluation, see what he or she says. So surgery when you need it, no surgery if you don't. That's my. If there are alternatives, and there usually are. There are certain ones that I'll say no, you need a surgery.
So you were in the Western world, so to speak, at one point, right?
Yeah,
and then you came
at Park Nicollet. I started the sports medicine.
How? I mean, did they think you were like off your rocker when you were gonna leave and come and do this approach?
No, actually, I started prolotherapy over 30-some years ago at Park Nicollet.
Oh.
Because, like I said, the physical medicine and rehabilitation department, they're not using drugs and surgery.
Right.
They're rehabilitating and using other tools. Like I got trained in acupuncture, and I started the acupuncture clinic at Park Nicollet a few years before or after that, actually. But when I found out that prolotherapy could stimulate healing, I started doing it at Park Nicollet, and it was fine until the insurance companies learned how to deny it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was injection therapy. They were paying for it, and they go, "Wait a minute, this isn't cortisone. This isn't destructive. We can't pay for it if it's not destructive."
Right.
So
right. Exactly.
I'm being facetious.
Yeah, but
it's a
not
drug.
really.
It's not. Not really. It's a drug. So we'll pay for the drugs and surgery, but we don't pay for the vitamin D. We don't pay for the natural naturopath
Right.
to tell you how to eat properly and have the right
Right.
supplements.
Now, do you
Right.
think that if maybe off topic?
So,
a little bit, but-
to answer your question, they were the doc that back then the clinic was owned by doctors, run by doctors, so it was more accepting of
medicine.
medicine that helps
Sure.
medicine.
Sure.
instead of medicine that pays.
Right.
So is there a lot of prolotherapy in the Twin Cities as far as options go?
There isn't. There's another doctor, Dr. Wheaton in
Okay.
Excelsior, does just prolotherapy. I do
Okay.
prolozone.
In prolotherapy.
Yeah, and mostly prolozone. And there are some other people who do a little,
Okay.
but not much.
Yeah, because I remember when I tore the tissue in my back, and my friend Terry was like, if this doesn't get better, like you might want to consider prolotherapy. And I was like, what? And like literally she was going to fly to Florida to some guy to do this prolotherapy, right? And
Yeah, and Dr. Hauser, he's a friend of mine.
Yes,
He lived
yes,
like many
yes.
years ago. And I have people, if the people who winter there, I'll send them to him, and he'll send me.
sure.
He'll send me people in the summer.
Sure. Right.
But most people, they do fly in, but more drive from North South Dakota,
Yeah.
Iowa,
Yeah.
that sort of things.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can feel my pain because just in the conversation here with in the last hour with Sheila, you've heard about back injury, you've heard about our oral surgery, you've heard about our knees, and that's
Welcome to your life.
That's the tip of the iceberg with Sheila's medical issues. Okay, so last segment, you mentioned preparing the body to heal.
Yeah.
And that sometimes when you're consulting with people, you say, you're just not ready for me yet.
Right.
And so we have to go back, and you mentioned vitamin D supplements and some of this. I've always heard that vitamin D supplements in particular are problematic in their effectiveness, and that in taking certain vitamin D, they really don't do anything. Am I wrong in that? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Totally.
Totally wrong.
Completely.
Okay. So
Yes.
Emphatically.
okay.
Yes.
So I don't know where I got that idea that some
Well,
vitamin.
you probably use something sponsored by pharma.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
You have to read when you read articles. You have to look who's paid for this research.
Okay.
And the doctors that say, "Oh, you just make an expensive urine by taking vitamins." It's a lie, because our food doesn't have the nutrients in it.
We don't have any of that.
And the studies they quote are done poorly. But vitamin D, for instance, if a woman has low vitamin D versus high normal vitamin D, the high normal vitamin D has an 80% less chance of breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost linear. And the same thing with cancer recurrence. Many types of cancers. The higher your vitamin D, the lower your likelihood of cancer recurrence.
Mm-hmm.
At least one study, showed that optimum vitamin D level will increase your lifespan. It'll decrease all-cause mortality. And same with fish oil and different things that they say. Either this is controversial. So there are good studies. If you take a meaningful amount, if you take
What's meaningful?
Well, if you do a study on taking 1-a-day vitamins, is that going to help you? No, you'll prove that vitamins are almost useless,
Right.
because it's an almost useless level
Right.
Of vitamin.
of
Right.
vitamin.
Yeah.
Right.
It'll keep you from getting scurvy, but that's
About it.
But that's about it, and that's very tiny. So I'm just saying. So what I usually recommend is kind of a basic, is a multivitamin, a good multivitamin with minerals, which is a good quality. We use Nutridyne mostly at my
We use
clinic.
our master formula.
And that's the Young Living. And a vitamin D with vitamin K2.
Okay.
It's it doesn't have to, but it's best. Certainly should have vitamin K2, because K2 keeps the calcium in the bones instead of the arteries. So you're less apt to have osteoporosis, and you're less apt to have cardiovascular disease. Like 27% less cardiovascular disease. People who have higher vitamin.
Is there a
K2
difference between
intake.
men and women?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I would suspect there is. So the multivitamin D, fish oil, probiotic,
Yes,
and the fruits and greens, kind of those are kind of the 5 basics. Now I take, ridiculous amount, but I can't even name them all. But there's reason for them. Each.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly, because we have no minerals left in our soil, and then that's another thing. We're mineral deficient as well.
Yeah.
But that's why we have the green omegas, and that's why you have all the things on your shelf, right, to take, because you heard it.
And I bet he doesn't take them.
He does.
I
He's
know he
really
does.
good. He's really good at it. Yeah,
Good.
he's gotten much better. At the beginning, though, he was like, "Wait, what?"
It's a lot, but
It is.
You get what you pay for,
Right.
and you get out of life what you put into it. 'Cause
Right.
You've got to take care of your
Right.
temple of the Holy Spirit is our bodies.
Yep.
You take care of it, it'll take care of you.
And like literally, like just I cringe when I just see the commercials of whatever that vitamin. You don't go to Walmart, you don't go to Cub, you don't go get those vitamins. Those vitamins have so much. I don't want to say stuffing, but
Fillers.
fillers. Thank you. They have so many fillers in them that you literally are wasting your money. It was just like the conversation I had the other day with a gal, and her budget is low, right? Yeah. And she really has a passion to want to, change some things over in her house. And I said, honey, until we go through and I see that you're buying, the toxic lip balm, and you're buying, just all the crap, at those stores that are on the dollar shelves, and you don't need the scrubbing bubbles, and you don't need the toilet bowl cleaner, and there's 10 things that they want you to buy when really it's so toxic, and you need the one. That let's sit down and figure out where you are with your budget. And there's so many ways that you can take what Young Living has, because you always say that they don't ship water, right? So you can take the foaming hand soap and dilute it if you need to make that. So it's that type of thing that that I love to walk through with you.
All natural, all easy, and it works. All stuff works. I got a couple more questions here. One of them is stem cell therapy. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned stem cell briefly.
Yeah.
How does that fit in to healing and therapies?
Yeah. Before the program, we talked a little bit. Stem cell, it's kind of a misnomer.
Okay.
Actually, it's growth factor. There are some stem cells in it, but you're not. The FDC shut down places. You probably heard on the radio all the ads they find and
close
because they're lying.
Yeah.
Stem cell, we have stem cells that repair, and most of these prolotherapy prolozones for stem cells.
We as in us individuals.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have stem cells, or we wouldn't be alive.
Right.
Okay. Yep.
If we cut yourself, you won't heal without stem cells.
Right.
So these stem cell therapy really are stem cell stimulating therapy.
Okay.
I use umbilical cord derived tissue, and that has some stem cells in it. I use some growth factor only, and it stimulates your stem cells. We used to think that the stem cells would turn into you, these baby stem cells.
Right.
They don't.
They don't.
They produce things to stimulate your exosomes and other things to wake up your stem cells even stronger than the prolotherapy program.
All right. We could go on and
repair.
on with this. It's so
Yeah.
interesting. Dr. George Kramer, ladies and gentlemen. GeorgeKramerMD.com. GeorgeKramerMD.com. Check it out and maybe get in there and get yourself fixed up and get out on the pickleball court.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
But when he calls me sugar, I love that man with all my might. Sugar in the morning, sugar in the afternoon. Sugar after dinner, sugar in every room. He says I'm sweet as I can be. When he calls me that name, it does things to me. I tell him, honey, you can call me sugar.